Welcome, viewers, and once again we have another edition, and we want to thank all of you for being with us for so many years. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to start with the Mountain Harbor Holding Company. Thank you so much. We want to thank our friends over at GBE. Thank you. We want to thank our friends down at Nagico. Nagico, thank you so much for your contribution. We want to thank our friends over at La Dolce Vita, Port de Plaisance, wonderful restaurant, Dolce Vita. And we want to thank our friends in Dutch Quarter Easy Clean Laundries. Friends, we're going to go right into business because in this Strictly Business program, it is about strictly business. And once again, we want to use this opportunity to welcome His Honorable.
Honorable, okay. I'm honored.
Mr. McSood, welcome again to Strictly Business. Why do we pick on you? Why do we pick on Mr. McSood? Yes, you've built yourself up in this beautiful little island here, coming as a young man to today. I could say McSood is a middle-aged man now. you spent no
I'm happy to be middle-aged. Almost 60.
Well, you're going to be there soon. Welcome to the club. 60 in a belly, you don't know how to get rid of it. No, these are wonderful things to celebrate. Again, we go way back to when we used to lift weights up in Mill Ridge and at Cecil's place. Yeah. And this is 30-odd years ago. It's over 3 decades ago. Why am I doing this? Because we must be able to look at where we are, to kind of guesstimate where are we going. Mr. McSood, I want to start with you from a worldly perspective, and then how it relates to St. Martin, and then we will take the Caribbean perspective. Nagico is in 20, how many islands?
26.
In 26 Caribbean islands. So it's a Caribbean entity now. And then we will talk about St. Martin itself. And then where do we go from here? From a worldly perspective, let's talk oil, let's talk terrorism, let's talk world economy. Tell me what, Mr. McSood, what do you see? What do you prognosticate? How does that come over to you as a person deep entrenched in business and must be concerned about everything that happens around the globe? How do you see that?
Well, it's very challenging times. No question about it. That the world is becoming a much more complicated place to do business, because it is no longer business as usual as we know it 30 years ago. No, you were saying.
Definitely.
Nowadays we're dealing with terrorism. We're dealing with a globalization of the world. The world is now a village.
That's correct.
And I'll tell people that's what they used to say, but actually the world is no longer a village. The world is a cellular phone.
It's as far as a cellular phone. That's correct.
It's a cellular phone. Everything is on the world.
I'm sitting on my phone some days ago, and I get a WhatsApp from Dubai. A friend of mine, I'm here in Dubai having some fun, and I'm going to South Africa. As you said, it's a cellular phone.
The world is now a cellular phone. Yeah. It's not even a village.
It's not going to reverse either.
No. And it's so therefore it's it's getting more complex to do business, and there are a lot of regulations are getting into place, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that. And people have to be a little bit swifter in the way they do things.
In decision making?
Oh yes, in decision making. Not just decision making, but just simply quicker and delivery.
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
So
yes,
you can make a decision quickly, but if you don't deliver,
just as far from home.
Just as far from home.
Right.
So and everything has got to be done at a certain pace.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
There's a sense of urgency. I had a meeting with my executive team not long ago. I have a program here every month that I call Chatting with the Chairman, and one of the things that we just talk about whatever comes to mind, and one of the things,
once a month you do that?
Yes, once a month, and one of the things that I was speaking about is that we now live in a world of instant everything, right?
It's a microwave world.
Everything.
Instant.
Instant everything. It's a whole different ball game, and people don't have time for tomorrow and next week. People don't want to hear that. You know, they want to get things done. And
I must interrupt you.
Quickly.
I must interrupt you, and only to join you. There was a time when we could have permitted for the United States to have the United States speed,
Right.
and we have our island speed.
Right. No.
Not anymore.
But we're too much now entwined in a globalized
Yes.
world, right?
Yeah.
And
You can't permit that.
That you can't. You have to as they say, stand the heat or get out of the kitchen. You know, that's what it is. You
That's
know?
correct.
And,
That's correct.
And it's a reality. So all these things.
You
happening
feel that
this
in your
world.
day-to-day doing business.
Absolutely, yes. You feel it. You feel that the pressure is
Decision making.
on
Things got to
you.
be delivered.
That's right.
Things got to happen.
That's right. People.
As fast as the internet works.
People don't have patience for deal too much long
Procrastination.
delays. Now we still get away with a little bit in the Caribbean, so we still have that little uniqueness that is ours, and I don't think that's likely to change.
Okay.
But when we're talking about business and about lifestyle, it's two different things. So you
That's
can
true.
still keep your lifestyle.
Yeah, but business is a
business,
different. No.
it's a globalized world,
Right.
you know, and it's a fast-paced world, and everybody wants to make things happen quickly.
Right.
I mean, I asked my people, for example, when last any one of them actually go and buy raw coffee and grind it themselves. Put it in the sun.
I'm sure
Make their own
I'm sure there are
coffee.
people at the table want to know what are you talking about. What kind of foolishness are you talking about?
or milk their own cow.
Right, great.
Nobody. It's a world.
The children today don't know that milk come from a cow.
No, probably not.
That's probably
They come from a can.
They came from a can. That's true.
So that's the kind of world that we are in, and then we have to be able to be nimble and so on.
It's not an easy situation. It's not an easy world. You're a man with stakes in the insurance business and other businesses. I see that you have stakes in the car business. That in particular, I want to touch with you. Oil has dropped. The price of oil has dropped significantly around the world. There are pros, and always that comes with cons. How did you experience this dramatic drop in oil prices?
Well,
Did it work for the insurance business? Did it work for the car business? How did you?
I think that you're
world-
going to see most of that benefit happening probably by the middle to the end of this year, because the real drop of the oil started to take place around mid last year when they started to have a rapid decline.
Yes,
right.
yes.
And manufacturing is not something
No.
that happens overnight.
No, it doesn't.
It's a process, and even though we live in the world of instant everything, they're doing things instantly.
Yeah.
But manufacturing
still
is
takes time.
manufacturing. That's right.
correct.
There are so many processes, and there are so many
That must
things
take
that have
time
to take
for the
time. So
end product.
right. So you're probably going to see that happening later on. But the reduction, I should say this, that the reduction in the cost of oil, whilst it will help manufacturing and help a lot of, especially small dependent nations like ours.
Like us, right.
It will help us certainly, but there are other things that are coming into the marketplace that are increasing cost. Right. So it's a balancing act
Okay.
always that you have to have, because regulations are costing more money to manage. Compliance is becoming a phenomenon.
That's
I mean,
with everything now.
I could tell you 4 years ago, the amount that I was spending on compliance
In the insurance business.
and regulatory matters, compared to now, I am today $3 million more than I was 3 years ago.
Wow.
And these are things that
And
will
this- and
probably
this is
will
just-
probably generate income down the road. But this is all of a sudden a
cost
huge expense now, and you can't jack up your premium rates up because you suddenly have all these compliance thing because the
client
world
won't
is,
accept that.
No. So there are other costs. Whilst I think the availability of raw materials is another problem. After a while, China and a lot of these nations are getting a lot of raw materials, say from Africa, at a certain price, and Brazil and some of these places a certain price, and then the people wake up and say, "No, we want more money for raw materials." And raw materials.
That's what's happening right now.
Right, and raw materials are not in infinite supply.
No,
Energy might be, because if people can capture the energy from the sun, then you could maybe say, okay,
but that's what the conversion is very expensive.
But you don't need oil as much, let us say. But if you need steel, you're not going to go and make your own steel.
Make cheap steel.
Cheap steel. The steel comes from the earth.
You make steel, period, or you don't make steel.
Iron ore is from the earth.
There you go. Right.
That's what it is. It's
but what I was hoping to hear. Venezuela collapsed completely because of oil. And one would think that we would have found that back in our prices. One would think that you would have found that back in the price of cars. But you didn't, necessarily. Because overall cars the price of cars has dropped tremendously.
Yeah, they've dropped. I think yeah, I mean the cars overall, you're getting a better quality car for about the same money and so on. So there are ways and means that
you're getting more for the same buck.
More for the same buck, and you're still seeing some increases in the car.
You seeing that?
Yes, you still
in
see
the luxury
increases.
cars, the top end.
Yeah. No, even in the middle range.
Is that right?
Yes, I mean. 5 years ago, I could sell an i10 for 9,000. Now probably it's 11, or whatever the number is. And the reason though is because it's all part of building a better quality car. So you get a better i10 today than you would get 5 years ago.
Not necessarily tied only to the oil.
Right. I mean, in 5 years ago, you wouldn't get an i10 with Bluetooth.
Yes, today you got
now
that.
you got Bluetooth.
Yes.
So the price goes up, but you get more, and it's
right, more for the buck, as you would say.
That's right. Yeah.
We look at world events. We look at terrorism.
Well, terrorism,
which is something that we. I hate to have to say it, something that we have to learn to live with.
Right.
Does that affect insurance?
It does. Throughout the world, it does. I mean, in some countries, like in France and so on, it's compulsory to buy terrorism. It's like it's now how it's compulsory to buy insurance for your car. Now you have, if you an insurance policy on French territory, not all over the world yet, but in most countries. French, but it's going that way all over the world.
Yeah, actually, it's going to extend.
Right. It's
but I'm saying, you're saying a house policy needs to have
even a house policy.
Is that right?
Have terrorism cover, yes. That's the way it's going now. Yeah.
Wow.
So and it's going to get that way all around the world.
That's a cost increase.
But there are, with all these challenges and all these issues, also bring opportunities.
Always, yes.
Always.
Yes, I agree.
There's an old saying, maybe it's a biblical saying, I'm not sure, but for every seed of disappointment, right?
The seed of opportunity.
Is a seed of opportunity.
Yes,
so there is a fact in that. And
well, when I speak to you, I always look back at your hummingbird. That is extremely adaptable, and the environment changes, and you change with the environment, because that's what's demanding of you now in the world.
Right.
Quick example: influence of the internet on daily business. My daughter and some friends some time ago ordered toilet tissue on the internet. Was able to order it from Walmart at a certain price. Paid their dues to the import situation in Curacao, and was able to get it to the door for less than they could buy it. What's the point of bringing to you? How far has the internet affected you, meaning the interest that you have in business, the insurance business, the car business, the parts business? And how far have you noticed a reality there?
Okay. It has affected us, but we are probably a few years away from the real problem. That's number one. Number two, we are somehow benefiting from the distance
Yes,
and the shipping and the cost.
Mhm.
Because, again, we live in this world of instant everything.
Right.
And people don't want to wait 3 weeks for the toilet
No,
paper,
no,
even though you could
People-
buy it.
no.
Even if you could buy it cheaper.
That's really great.
Yeah,
You
will
could have
go-
get away with that 2 years
right,
ago.
you'll
not
go to the
today.
grocery store and buy your toilet paper. So
There you
it's,
go.
to some extent, it has had its impact though, because it's only a matter of time that we have to start selling insurance online. In
Oh,
the
yeah,
states,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
states, people are doing
it's a reality
that
in the States already.
Oh, yes. And that sooner or later people are going to be buying everything, computers, furniture, everything online. And there are people buying cars online at the moment, but in that particular business, it's probably less of an impact.
Well, let me
The
put it.
cost is more of a factor, because if you buy something, the problem you have is that you have warranty issues, repair issues, and people are afraid of
Well, that
such
is true, and besides, I formerly had some I did some car business in the
I know,
past,
remember.
and I told people the last thing you want to buy on the internet is a car.
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting. That's true.
You could buy a pair of shoes,
Yeah.
you could buy tissues, you could buy a jacket. The last thing, because again, for educational purposes, you I have seen people go through horror stories buying cars on the internet. What's the
Right,
problem? Even new cars, because sometimes a car dealer in the United States, you walk in and they say, "I want to buy a car. Is it for export or is it for here?" What they sometimes do, a car has a factory problem. You pick it up and you send it, you export it. And once it's exported, that's it. They collect, they export that car. When it reaches to the island,
Right.
it's your problem.
Especially used cars.
Especially, yes.
Used cars.
Doesn't happen
But-
much with new cars.
But even
it
with
does
new
happen.
cars,
It does happen.
when you have a manufacturer's problem with a car you bought from the States, we're going to ship it back.
I shipped back a windshield once.
Yeah.
It cost more to clear it.
Yeah.
It's still in customs in the
Exactly,
States.
yeah.
It costs more to clear it than the price of the thing.
Yeah.
But again, these are issues that are current. These are things that we're living with today. My question would be, again, on a world level, when we look at terrorism, now that you would know, how far is it from our bed? How far is it from us? We are very, very sensitive with that concern. And there's some things you want to say on television, some things you don't want to say. But as a people, as a government, we have to be extremely aware of 4 tourist ships in town, 5 tourist ships in town, the security around our ships. We have to be very, very, very careful. I'm sure you could share that.
Yeah, I share that. I don't fear it as much as a lot of people do. From the point
Why
of
is
view,
that? Because I fear it.
yeah, I know. Well, most people I speak to do. I don't fear it as much, simply from the point of view that you have to think about the terrorist mindset, and terrorism, and most terrorist attacks and behavior is built on creating a lot of collateral damage.
Yes.
Right? It's not so much
Instilling
the physical
fear
right,
and collateral
right,
damage.
right. And therefore, terrorism is only being carried out. Terrorism is not new. People think it's new.
No,
it's
it's
been going
not.
on hundreds of years.
Oh, come on.
I mean, that's what Hitler practiced. It's terrorism.
Mussolini,
All of
Hitler.
them, yeah.
I mean, go right back in
Yeah,
history.
yeah, terrorism
Which
is
it's not
it's
a new
but
phenomenon.
but the main thing for terrorism is impact value,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it has no real impact value for the terrorist to do something in the Caribbean, even if it means that you have killed a few Americans. Right?
That's the point I wanted.
Because most of the terrorism that is practiced, or terrorist activity, are practiced by highly intelligent people.
Extremely intelligent men.
Dumb people can't practice
Can't be the
terrorism. I'm telling you. If you're dumb, get out of that
Get out of
business.
business.
Because you get caught
Because
quickly.
they'll pick you up.
They'll pick you up quickly.
These are very, very
These are
intelligent people. Yeah, extremely.
Right? So
That-
they
that's
are.
right.
So they are fully aware of the impact factor.
That's correct.
Right? and therefore they can calculate in their mind that they have no beef with a Caribbean nation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that the impact of such attack will be more detrimental to the Caribbean country where it happens
than
the United States, you know, and they're able to calculate that, or France, or wherever it is. But it doesn't mean to say that we must not take it.
No.
Say, because somebody might come up with some idea. Well, let's make a statement in the USVI, you know,
for instance, right.
But the likelihood is less. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody has the resources that they can penetrate, into a cruise ship or what have you, you know, they'll do it in Europe.
They can do that.
But they'll do it in Europe.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
sure.
because they're trying
well, as I said, the collateral damage is
trying
massive.
to create the problem with
Yes.
Europeans and Americans,
Yes,
or the people who support the United States or whoever they have the beef with.
Well, remember,
right?
France got involved with Syria, and quickly after it was, you know.
Yeah. So that is so I don't fear it as much.
As much, okay.
I see it more as an opportunity to the contrary. And I sometimes I travel around the Caribbean and I tell some governmental friends of mine and other business friends is that, you know, I'm always disappointed. I'm very disappointed that throughout the Caribbean that we have not made better use, right? That we have not made better use of this opportunity.
Yes.
Because the world could see that the Caribbean is a safe place.
Yes.
Why aren't we making use
Capitalize
of that? Why
more.
are we struggling to get tourists?
I totally
Why
agree.
our hotels are only 75% full? Why in off-season it's less than 50%?
While statistically we have proven
While
to be
our
one of
cost
the
of living
safest...
is so high. What's all of that? Why aren't we making use of this opportunity?
Extremely
And
good
I
point.
tell people that, and I get varied explanations. But
one of the things I must grant you, what the Bible talks about lack of vision.
right, yes.
The lack of vision, people will perish.
Well, that is one.
Because if our leaders don't have the vision to see that, I tell tourists that all the time. This is one of the world's safest quarters.
Right.
That Caribbean quarter of the world.
Exactly.
It is one of the safest quarters of the world.
And one of the most beautiful.
Of the world.
So
No two ways about
so you
it.
have the two things that all tourists want.
Beauty and safety.
Safety. And we are not able to capitalize.
We're not capitalizing
or
on
we are
that
not doing enough.
In the last part of this edition, Mr. McSood, candidate Trump is an element that's playing big in the States right now. Your opinion? How do you see his chances? What do you see his influence? There's some stuff there that makes me nervous.
I see his chance as zero, to be
To
honest.
win the general election.
That's right. I see his chances zero.
I share that.
I see his chances high to get the nomination.
I see that also, yes.
Because you know, as has been said before, you know, if you let the devil in your bed, you'll end up sleeping with him, right?
Sooner or later.
And
That is true.
and the Republican Party have let him in.
Yes.
Basically, have let him in.
I just said, if you let the devil in, you have to sleep.
No, you got to sleep.
It's their problem, because now they're fighting to get him
But
out, and it's too late.
you can't have a 70% unfavorability rate and win a general election. But
He has picked too many enemies.
But you can create quite a bit of mayhem in the meantime.
A lot of mayhem.
And that is
a lot of fear.
Fear, yeah, that's right.
Because I speak to business people, and this is about, I wanted to do XYZ. Together with some friends, we wanted to do something in the States. And right now, I personally told my friends, boy, let's wait and see what's going on. Because you see, some bad sentiments has grown. Some ugly 1920s bigotry has grown, and it's not a pretty sight.
Right. You see, some people make some fundamental mistake, and I tell people that here sometimes. Whilst running a company and running a country has some similarities in that you have to generate income and you have to control expenses.
Right.
That's just that similarity. But running a country and running a company are two totally separate things.
Completely different.
The purpose is different,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Mostly when you're running a company, you're running it for a profit
You're driven by one
incentive
thing.
for yourself
Yeah,
or
that's
your
it.
shareholders,
Yeah.
right? Whereas running a country, the goal has shifted. You have to now
Yeah.
think more about
General interest and all kinds of the parameters are completely different.
Right, exactly. So Trump thinks that because I'm this great businessman, I can go run country, you know.
And that's not so.
But you got to be careful. You can't say women must be punished if they get abortion. That isn't not a country. You know, the consequences to such a statement. You
Yeah,
know?
that's absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. McSood, we're going to close this part of our interview. And viewers, we'll take a break and we encourage you to tune in once again for the second half of what I said is a very, very interesting interview. And in the second half, you will hear what Mr. McSood has to say about the Caribbean, about St. Martin, and his intentions for the future.